The baseball world received shocking news that has left fans, analysts, and players completely stunned and outraged. In a stunning reversal of decisions made during yesterday's game between the Los Angeles Dodgers and Chicago Cubs, Major League Baseball has announced that 2 home runs hit by Shohei Ohtani will be disallowed and erased from the official record. This unprecedented action came in response to an explosive formal complaint filed by the Chicago Cubs organization, which alleged that Ohtani had violated league regulations regarding bat specifications and equipment modifications. However, the real bombshell in this developing story involves the details of MLB's investigation findings, which have raised serious questions about the integrity of the process and the motivations behind the Cubs' complaint. MLB's own investigation has revealed evidence suggesting that the Cubs organization may have fabricated or exaggerated the allegations against Ohtani's equipment in what appears to be a retaliatory measure following the violent assault by 3 Cubs players in the parking lot. What exactly did MLB find during its investigation? How could 2 home runs that were hit during official play be disallowed after the fact? And why would the Cubs file a complaint that their own investigation apparently contradicts? These questions and many others have sparked unprecedented outrage and demands for accountability from MLB and the Cubs organization. Following yesterday's game at Wrigley Field, the atmosphere in the Cubs organization was tense and chaotic in the aftermath of the parking lot assault perpetrated by 3 of their players against Shohei Ohtani. However, according to sources close to the situation, Cubs ownership and management made a calculated decision to attempt to deflect attention away from their players' criminal conduct by launching an offensive attack against Ohtani himself. The Cubs organization filed a formal complaint with Major League Baseball alleging that Ohtani's bat used during yesterday's game did not meet league specifications and that the equipment had been illegally modified to provide unfair competitive advantage. The complaint was filed late last night and came accompanied by dramatic language suggesting that the Cubs had discovered serious equipment violations that warranted investigation and potential punishment. The Cubs' complaint alleged that Ohtani's bat had been doctored or modified in ways that violated MLB regulations regarding bat composition, barrel thickness, and other technical specifications. The Cubs claimed that this illegal equipment had given Ohtani an unfair advantage and that any home runs hit with the non-compliant bat should be disallowed and removed from the official record. The complaint was shocking not only for its serious nature but also for its apparent timing. The Cubs filed the equipment violation complaint mere hours after 3 of their own players had been arrested and charged with assault following the parking lot attack on Ohtani. Many observers immediately recognized that the complaint appeared to be a retaliatory measure designed to shift focus away from the criminal conduct of the Cubs players. Nevertheless, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred indicated that the league would conduct a thorough investigation into the Cubs' allegations. Despite the apparent timing and retaliatory nature of the complaint, Manfred stated that MLB had a responsibility to investigate all allegations of equipment violations, regardless of the circumstances under which those allegations arose. MLB officials immediately examined the bat that Ohtani had used during yesterday's game. Technical experts from the league conducted comprehensive testing and analysis of the equipment to determine whether it complied with all league specifications and regulations. However, today, MLB released the results of its investigation, and the findings have shocked everyone and have raised serious questions about the Cubs' motivations and integrity. According to MLB's technical analysis, Ohtani's bat was in complete compliance with all league regulations and specifications. The bat met every requirement regarding composition, barrel thickness, exit velocity performance, and all other technical parameters established by MLB. Furthermore, MLB's investigation revealed that Ohtani's bat was identical in specification to bats previously approved and used throughout the season without any indication of impropriety. There was absolutely no evidence that the bat had been illegally modified or doctored in any way. In a stunning development, MLB's investigation also revealed evidence suggesting that the Cubs organization had deliberately fabricated or significantly exaggerated the allegations against Ohtani's equipment. According to MLB's findings, there was no legitimate basis for the Cubs' complaint and that the organization appeared to have filed the complaint as a retaliatory measure in response to the parking lot assault. Commissioner Rob Manfred released an official statement addressing the investigation findings and revealing the bombshell discovery regarding the Cubs' apparent bad faith conduct. Manfred's statement expressed serious concern about the Cubs organization's behavior and indicated that the league would be pursuing disciplinary action against the organization. MLB's investigation into the Cubs' equipment violation complaint has concluded, Manfred's statement read. Our technical analysis confirms that Shohei Ohtani's bat was in complete compliance with all league specifications and regulations. There is no legitimate basis for the Cubs' complaint. Furthermore, evidence suggests that the Cubs organization may have deliberately filed a false complaint as a retaliatory measure. Manfred continued, stating that the 2 home runs hit by Ohtani during yesterday's game would not be disallowed, despite the Cubs' complaint. The commissioner stated that the home runs would remain official and would continue to be credited to Ohtani in the official record. However, Manfred also announced that the disallowance of the home runs that the Cubs had requested would not be granted. Instead, the commissioner indicated that MLB would be investigating the Cubs organization's conduct in filing what the league believed to be a false and retaliatory complaint. The Cubs organization will face disciplinary action for filing a complaint that appears to have been fabricated and filed in bad faith as a retaliatory measure, Manfred stated. We take the integrity of the game seriously, and we will not tolerate false complaints or retaliatory conduct by organizations or individuals. Manfred's statement indicated that MLB was considering significant penalties against the Cubs organization, potentially including fines, loss of draft picks, and other disciplinary measures designed to hold the organization accountable for what the league believed was intentional misconduct. The revelation that the Cubs had apparently filed a false complaint has sent shockwaves through the baseball community. Many analysts and commentators have characterized the Cubs' conduct as even more egregious than the parking lot assault, because it represented an attempt to manipulate the game itself through false allegations. Shohei Ohtani addressed the situation in a statement released through the Dodgers organization. Ohtani expressed frustration and disappointment with the Cubs' apparent retaliatory conduct but stated that he was relieved and vindicated by MLB's investigation findings. I am grateful that MLB conducted a thorough investigation and that they determined that my bat was in complete compliance with all league regulations, Ohtani said through an interpreter. However, I am deeply disappointed that the Cubs organization would file false allegations against me as a retaliatory measure. This conduct is inappropriate and reflects a fundamental lack of integrity by the Cubs organization. Ohtani continued, emphasizing that the Cubs' apparent retaliatory conduct reinforced his belief that the organization had fostered a culture of hostility and inappropriate behavior. The Cubs organization has demonstrated a pattern of hostile conduct toward me, Ohtani stated. They have allowed their players to assault me physically. They have attempted to have their umpires destroy my equipment. And now they have filed false complaints against me as a retaliatory measure. This pattern of conduct is unacceptable, and I hold the Cubs organization responsible for creating an environment that has fostered this behavior. Manager Dave Roberts expressed outrage at the Cubs' apparent conduct and praised MLB for investigating thoroughly and making the correct decision regarding Ohtani's home runs. What the Cubs did was despicable, Roberts said bluntly. They filed a false complaint as a retaliatory measure because 3 of their players assaulted Shohei in the parking lot. This is not how professional baseball organizations should conduct themselves. I am grateful that MLB saw through this charade and made the right decision to allow Shohei's home runs to stand. Freddie Freeman also commented on the situation, expressing support for Ohtani and criticism for the Cubs organization's apparent bad faith conduct. This is a new low, Freeman said. The Cubs assaulted Shohei in the parking lot, and then when they faced consequences, they tried to manipulate the game by filing false complaints. It's pathetic, and I am glad that MLB rejected their complaint and is pursuing disciplinary action against them. The Chicago Cubs organization released a statement claiming that they had filed the complaint in good faith based on concerns about Ohtani's equipment. The statement suggested that while MLB's investigation had cleared the bat, the Cubs believed they had legitimate reasons to raise the concern. However, the Cubs' statement has been widely criticized as inadequate and unconvincing given the apparent timing and bad faith nature of the complaint. Many analysts have noted that if the Cubs had legitimate equipment concerns, they should have raised them during the game rather than filing a retaliatory complaint hours after the assault. Baseball analysts and commentators have emphasized that the Cubs' apparent conduct in filing a false complaint represents a new level of organizational dysfunction and misconduct. Several experts have characterized the Cubs organization as having completely lost control and having demonstrated a fundamental lack of integrity and professionalism. The incident has prompted calls for comprehensive reform of the Cubs organization, including changes in ownership, management, and player personnel. Several commentators have suggested that the organization's demonstrated pattern of hostile conduct, violence, and apparent retaliatory behavior indicates that significant organizational restructuring is necessary. Player unions and advocacy groups have expressed serious concern about the Cubs organization's conduct and have called for MLB to impose severe penalties. Several representatives have indicated that the league's response to the Cubs' apparent misconduct will send an important message about whether MLB is willing to hold organizations accountable for bad faith conduct. The Dodgers organization has stated that they will continue to support Ohtani completely and will monitor the situation as MLB pursues disciplinary action against the Cubs organization. The Dodgers have indicated that they expect the league to impose meaningful penalties that will serve as a deterrent to other organizations that might consider engaging in similar bad faith conduct. Thank you for watching. MLB's bombshell findings that the Cubs filed a false complaint in apparent retaliation for the parking lot assault represent an unprecedented development in this ongoing saga involving the Dodgers and Cubs. Please share your thoughts in the comments section about the Cubs organization's apparent bad faith conduct. Do you believe MLB should impose severe penalties on the Cubs? What systemic changes should the organization implement? Subscribe to our channel for more interesting and up-to-date information about Shohei Ohtani and all the latest developments in Major League Baseball.